All right, I can see my screen. We are good to go. Take it live.
All the stuff.
All the stuffs.
Live now.
Yeah, make it, yeah. Because I had it as unlisted just to make sure I could see my screen.
Okay.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Just getting started here, making sure everything's up and running, same as usual. Let me know, Heather, when you get a chance. Piper. Piper. All right. Cool. Just got the green light from Heather that everything's going well here. All right, let's get started. Shut off the Vivaroo here. All right. So it's been a while since I did a live video because it's been an insane week. And we're trying to keep these live videos to the point where they're interesting, so we have enough going on inside the live video that it's hopefully interesting enough to watch. And this last week has just been a lot of projects happening all at once, and none of them made like huge strides in order to talk about until today. So we're going to go through all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to start off with where I left off accidentally when my phone died last time. I have a full battery now. Good to go on the handheld device here. And I don't think that'll be a problem this time. So sorry about that. But yeah, let's start off with where we left off with that Sopranos ending, as one stated it. I like that. So, hey, Jake. I can see you. Hey, from the firehouse. Jake, that's cool. Who else is on there? Art. Hey, Art. Nathan. Sweet. Got guys in from all over the place. It's pretty rad. So, Vincent. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Daniel, right on. We're picking up speed here. Pretty cool. You'll probably just let a few more folks hop on here. It's noon Mountain Standard Time, so it's lunchtime. If you hear my belly growling, it's because it's time for food. But I didn't get food yet, so. Hey, David. Hey, Jace. Fuzzy Wiseman. Yes, you are finally able to catch one live. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. So. It's so weird to just talk to a little emoticon that comes up on my screen. Derek from Kazakhstan. Wow. Carolina. All right. We're getting good. Looking good. Jeff, you ready?
I'm ready.
If I have to come talk to you, I will come talk to you. Piper, are you ready? You look ready. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to swap the camera here. Let's talk about where we left off. And that was water systems. So this is what I was pointing at in the last episode. And just a quick note on episodes. If you can, we're trying to do these in progressive, flip it back here, in a progressive fashion. So if you're just hopping in and this is your first live, watch this one, cool. But if you want to like get caught up, if you go back into the playlist, we've been keeping track. This is episode 6, and we're just trying to do like a really cool timeline as we prepare for the expedition. And if you go back and start from the beginning, you can kind of see like how all this started and the progression of getting these trucks to South America. So, which is season 3, which is what we're right in the middle of working on right now. So. Yeah, catch us on this one, and then if you haven't watched the other ones, go back and tune into those, because I think it seems like most people are very responsive to this, and they've been getting hopefully a lot of good information out of it. So that'd be good for you. So anyway, back to where we started. Water systems. So one of the questions right at the end of episode 5 there was, what do we do for water purification and whatnot? So I was pointing at this. This is something we bought. It's an SAF H2O Survivor, and you'd have to Google it from the company, but it produces 180 gallons per hour and runs on 14 watts, and it just produces a ton of awesome, clean, filtered, including viral with a UV light on this side. Runs off a 12-volt plug, and this system is where it's at for us. Now, is this what everyone needs? No, because this would be pretty much overkill for most people. But we're feeding and having to make water to keep 8 to 10 guys running all the time, plus all of our kitchen gear and stuff like that. For example, the XV3 trailer that's coming in hopefully tomorrow. It has a 20-gallon water tank in there, and just being able to filter good clean water into that tank and keep that stocked up, you need like a system like this that you can use in the field, from a river, from a water source somewhere, and be able to fill that kind of volume of water, plus the jerry cans, etc. If you're just running off of like gravity fed bags like the Catadine or something like that, you just wouldn't do it. It'd just take too long. So if you're going to be in remote areas, something like this, and having to feed and keep a lot of people from being thirsty, this is the type of system I'd look at. So anyway, a couple other updates on the bug out bags. We had, I can't remember his name offhand. Instead of Life Straw, he recommended these. So the Sawyer Minis. So I went on Amazon, I checked these out, and it did seem to be a better system than the Life Straw. So we ordered some of these instead, and we're going to be sending the Life Straws back. Let's see, what else do we get? We got a couple, we just run a couple cheap signal mirrors. Signal mirrors are some of the best tools you can have. They're fun to use. I've had one since I was a little kid, but even in search and rescue, we use them all the time for just locating other teams and keeping track of people. It's just something, it weighs nothing, and it is probably the brightest thing you can have in your pocket during the day. So we carry these, and for years I used one of these to put in my contacts and stuff. So double uses on that. Let's see, anything else? Linder, our stuff's going out today to Team 5. That was an update. We still haven't got there. We were just kind of collecting a few more things before we sent that off. But that's about to go to Team 5 again and get our med bags rebuilt for this big expedition coming up. So, all right. What other things do we have going on? So, here's all our alley boxes, and we've talked a lot about alley boxes so far. There's a cool thing you might be interested in. So I talked to the guys at AT Overland Adventure Trailers, and we on the Habitat we put this stuff on. It's called Shark Hide Aluminum Cleaner, and it also puts like a protective finish on the outside of aluminum products so they don't tarnish. So you look how beautiful these new boxes are. We're going to put this on, and hopefully they'll last and look better longer than if you don't. But we'll see. It's just an experiment. You guys can kind of keep track of that. You can kind of see if I go over here to like Rufio. Over time, they just get a tarnished look. So on the left is one that's been used, and on the one that's brand new. We're hoping to keep our boxes looking that good, just because we want to take care of our stuff. So, all right, what else? Big shipment of radios came in. Let's talk radios. I know a lot of guys have been asking for information on radios and what we're doing, and I'll just step into Rufio here and we'll get started on that. So in the years past, this is our new radio. Okay, let me flip this. All right, so in the past, we've used all kinds of radios. We've used GMRS radios. We've just used the Motorola handheld walkie-talkies type of thing. We've used CB radios for about this long because they're pretty much worthless. So if you're getting into radios and you're going to be doing like long distance self-sustained travel and overlanding, spending a lot of time in long distant places, which I hope you do, CB radios just aren't really the ticket. They work fine for vehicle-to-vehicle communication in short ranges. So like you'll see tons of Jeep guys, Toyota guys, whatever, they go down to Moab or whatever and they're just running trails. CBs work fine for that for the most part. You'll still end up having frustrations with them. It's just part of the deal. But once you get into even trail rides that are extended, you'll find that the lead truck and the tail truck on trail rides will have ham radios in them, because the CBs over traveling on trucks and trails, they just get too weak for the distance that they're having to travel from the front to the lead. So you quickly, as you progress into overlanding or backcountry travel by vehicle, you quickly move into the ham radio world. Ham radios require a license. So you have to study and go take a test. It's like $15. Most of us, or several of us, have our ham radios. Kurt and I in particular are usually the guys that are chatting on the radios. And I think I did ham test online, something like that, studied for it, went in, took the test, got it, got a call sign, and we've been up and running. So Lucas asked, what does the test consist of? Is it difficult? I don't know. It just depends on how experienced you are with electronics. It has a lot of, common sense stuff like, don't put up your ham radio tower in a location that if it falls, it's going to fall on a power line, kind of things like that. But then there's, a lot of electronic mapping and what is it? Was this a sign for a resistor and stuff like that? It's totally doable. If you graduated high school, you can pass a ham radio test. You just got to put your time in. Put your time in, go get it. And once you have this ham license, it's just opens up this whole new world, and you slowly become a bigger and bigger nerd because of the potential and abilities that you get from running ham radio. So that leads me to what we have done over the past, again. So we started with CBs, then we went to Motorola talkabouts type of things, and then we went into ham radio. And in the Central America expedition, we used those Anytones. They're like a cheaper Chinese-made ham radio. They did the job. And so I think they're about $225. They did the job. It was dual band, and it's opened up the possibilities of communication over huge ranges versus CB, so it was great. But they had their limitations. And there's a couple things that we want to experiment with as we grow in our own ham abilities, like APRS, which is another topic. You guys can get into that later. But that's what brings us to these new radios. So this is the new, it's the ICOM 5100A, I believe. And they are very fancy. We're very excited about it. High Altitude Communications worked with us on these. And let's see if I can get it to, I don't know if I can get it to adjust to the screen. You can't see it on the phone too well. Let's see, maybe from here. There we go. So like right here, here's the weather band. And let's see if I can get something going here.
Here is a special weather statement from the National Weather Service in Great Falls for the following areas.
We added a louder loudspeaker, and we did that for camera crews, so that when we're recording all of our communications and whatnot in the truck, you'll be able to hear those communications better in the film. So I think that's going to just improve the user or the viewing experience, that you'll be able to hear our comms better and have a clearer sound to it. So just one of the small things, and that's really one of the main reasons why we switched radios. We want a clear sound, longer distance, be able to do APRS types of stuff, and have good clean sound for the movie. So this is where we mounted it in Rufio. It's very clean. I don't have the, oh yeah, I do have the hand mic if you're interested. It's pretty rad. It's a dual band, so it'll do UHF and VHF stuff. It gets pretty nerdy. I won't get into that too much, but yeah. So there's that. Let me show you what we did on the other trucks as well, real quick, while we're talking ham radios. I like Samson, how we got it mounted in here. It's pretty cool. All right, so what we did here in the 200 series, we want to make sure that everything is such a beautiful car and it's so wonderful to sit in and look at, that we didn't want anything to distract from the aesthetics of the vehicle. We wanted to look like it was supposed to be here, and this is the best that we could do. So it's just mounted on a ram mount, and it sits in front of the screen there, and it looks intentional. I think that's awesome. I'm very excited about it. This one isn't hooked up yet. We just have it laid out. That's my job today, is to work on getting everything run here. So we're putting it, the seats, usually we put the main base station under the driver's seat or the passenger seat, or a lot of times I guess they can go under a dash, but there's so much stuff built into the back of here, and then under the seats too, because it has the vented seats and stuff, so there's a fan under there and things like that. There's not enough room to mount the radio head or the radio unit. This is the head. The unit is under the seat usually, but this time we're occupying the glove box. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to mount our radio, and then we're also going to mount our brake controller down there. So everything is clean and out of the way, and you never see it. That's especially the brake controller. You know, you kind of use it, you set it and forget it, kind of a thing. That way it's not glowing in your eyes at night, etc. Oh, here's a cool thing, random thought. See this kangaroo sticker? That's from when this truck went to Australia for the Toyota Expedition film shoot for the new Land Cruiser. That's pretty cool. So we left that in there because it's kind of a piece of history for this the Land Cruiser here, because it's already been to Australia, and by the time it gets to South America, that's the 4th continent that Samson will already be on in its lifetime. And I think, let's see, I was just looking at the mileage. This has only 11,500 miles on Samson, so this is like a brand new truck. All right, let's hop over to X3, and I'll show you where we mounted the ham radio there. We, in X3, had the head unit mounted on the mirror location. Let's see here. So let me tilt this up. There we go. Nice. This one's up and running. So we have the S-Pod working here, and then because, if I'll show you the back here, because the habitat, we didn't put a window in the habitat. We wanted that solid for reasons of livability in the back there. So because we can't see through the back, we went ahead and eliminated the rear view mirror in the front, and we use that for the radio mount location. So it's up here, it's easy to get at, and we used, so this company called Tech Deck, if you've seen them, heard of them, they're a great little company, and they produce this mirror riser, and we used the mirror riser to mount another ram mount head, and then it comes with a, let's see if I can get around there so you can see, it comes with another ram mount ball head there, so you can do another ram mount, and that's how we got the S-Pod screen mounted there. So yep, that's the radios. X3 is used, just looking around here, let me roll the seat back, crammed in here. X3 is our communications truck. It's the lead truck in the fleet, so it has the ham radio up top. It's got the iPad with, we can run HEMA maps on this. You can run Google. It's got the cell ability in it, so we can pull that up anywhere. In addition, we've put a Wii Boost, Wilson Electronic cell phone booster in here. It's the 4X something. It does up to 4 devices. It's a little antenna up here on the hood. That'll boost the signal. And I was just running that out on the ranch, and it has made a massive improvement to remote cell signal, which we're happy with because they were expensive. It was about $500 for that thing. And in addition, we have our sat phone sitting here too. And this sat phone sits here on full time. This year we've added a second sat phone to our fleet because there has been a couple times in the past, times when we have driven 2 vehicles apart from each other beyond ham radio distance and outside of cell phone distance. So that kind of makes me a little bit nervous when it comes to coordinating, and if something were to go wrong somewhere in some deep country, we didn't have the ability to get a hold of those guys. So now we're running 2 sat phones. One will be here and one will be in Rufio plugged in, and they just live there ready to go, and they're on, so family members or whatnot can call us at any time. So we're available in emergencies from home too, if hopefully that never happens. But that's just part of what we think is important, so that while we are on these big trips, people can get a hold of us as well. So yeah, communications, mapping, comms between the trucks, sat phone ability, and boosted cell phone ability, so that the people that are sitting up in this truck have all the information they possibly can to lead the convoy to the next destination. So yeah, there's a quick run around. What's that round antenna on X3? That guy, that is the sat phone antenna. It has kind of fallen off the hood here as we've been working on it. It's just magnetic. Ooh, the snorkel's in the way. I'm just short on one end, that's all. So that should live right here, and you can tell that it's magnetic. So that is the sat phone for the Iridium phone. So, all right, let's talk about some other stuff. What else we get going? Oh, next update, goose gear. Check this out. We've been slaving away, and we got this install put in. We are so excited about that. You can see here why we didn't put a fridge in this one. Rufio and X3 both have fridges in them, so we didn't need a third fridge, but we wanted this truck to have the ability to have a fridge in it on later expeditions. So we went with what Paul May has in his truck at Equipped Expedition Outfitters. He's got a 200, and they built a deck for him. Goose Gear built the deck for him, and we kind of just took that idea. So this will fit a National Luna fridge and a combo slide stove on the bottom eventually, but we have it here because that's where we're packing one of our big Pelican type cases with some camera gear in it, and you can just see it just fits like a glove. So we're probably just going to put some foam in here or there, keep it from rattling if it needs to. And then in addition, we had them put this on top and drop down so that we can stack stuff on top if need be, and we have little hooks that we can tie things down. And we also have a pass-through ability to put long items in there if we have to, which is kind of convenient every now and then. And then we can roll a seat down. We could stuff a guy in there if we had to transport someone who wasn't feeling well. We could kind of build up that seat and lay a guy in here. It'd be tight, but we could get it done. So yeah, here's the latch. This is cool. It's so smooth. It pulls out. So we got one drawer for organization. I don't totally know what exactly we're going to use this for yet, or what's going in it, but that's kind of next week when we start outfitting these trucks. So that comes in there like that, and then it latches down. Pretty slick. So good job, Goose Gear. We are stoked. Thanks for the white. That's pretty cool that it matches kind of the white and black theme of the truck. It's just a really great product, and we're stoked on that. So I'll show you a little bit of the clearance from behind the seat, because there's actually quite a bit of room left to do other things. This will flip down. So If you look down there, look how much room is still available there. Another hard case can go in there. This might be our new medical bag location, because we can put our rolled up litter in the med bag right there, and then it's quickly accessed from the door, and kind of out of the way. And then it's going to get jolty here for a second. And then this has a little bit of room back there, but we found a couple of our hard drive cases fit perfect in there. So, all right, let's move on. What else is being done on Samson here? Jeff, what are you working on?
We're about to dive in under the hood there on Samson. Got a whole bunch of stuff to put in. Our dual battery system from National Luna, and then we've got our SLE bracket for our air compressor. The diff breather kit, we'll mount that under the hood. And then all of our lights are going to wire into our S-Pod, which we'll have under the hood as well. So the next few days we'll be doing all sorts of wiring stuff.
Yeah, it's getting into the electrical. That is the name of the game right now, is electrical.
Yeah,
We've got almost all the hardware mounted. It's just lights, batteries, compressors. That's the last remaining bit. So here is, we told you that SLE had hooked us up with some of their brackets. This is their air compressor bracket. That fits, let's see, let's go back to the engine here. I'll give you a profile of the engine. That fits back in there. And that just, one way or the other here, mounts down in there. And that air compressor, the dual duty, full duty, get it right, will sit on that bracket. So ARB hooked us up with the dual air compressor. That is the air compressor to get. We've run the singles, and once we went to the doubles, you just never go back, because the volume of air that those produce, being able to run an air tool if you had to, and it eliminates half of the air up time. It's twice as fast, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, here's the National Luna system going in, and then one last thing. You can see the SLE dual battery bracket here. And now, Jeff, did we decide that we're going to do the swap?
We're not.
We're not going to do the swap just yet?
So we're keeping this as our primary, but we did put a Group 31 in. And then we'll do a Group 35 over here on the auxiliary battery.
Okay.
So a few reasons we did that. One, we are going to have some things hooked up to our main battery that are going to pull some good power. Mm-hmm. So we want to keep that as the larger battery. And then it'll just keep things a little more clean for us too.
Sure.
So yeah, we're going to have plenty of power in this thing. We're pretty excited about it.
Power is the name of the game for South America. There's that bracket for that auxiliary battery tucked in there. Nice fit. SLE makes awesome stuff. Thanks, Christo, for supporting us. All right, let's see. Let's work on ladies. Come on. Jeff's also been working in here. Jeff, can you show me what you did in here?
Yeah.
Because this is pretty cool.
It's a process right now, but let's take a look.
Where are we at?
So this is Rufio, our AT system drawer and front box. And we've had our dual battery in here, but we're revamping this whole system because we're putting in that large Odyssey 1800 battery. So it has the power of more than double of the Group 31. So what I'm doing here is building a whole new box that's going to have a bunch of 12-volt ports in it, because this is where our offloading is going to happen. So Nate's going to be able to he'll need to be able to plug in his computer and hard drives and all that stuff. Yep. It's also going to double as a charging station for production gear. And some of that is we want to split the load between X3 and Rufio for that. And it's also, in the event that X3 goes down, we can charge everything we need to in here. So we've got our inverter. We're going to be able to do all of our plug-in stuff here. We'll have ports in the front that are quick access. We'll have ports here for when Nate's doing his offloading, and then it's a storage unit as well. And this whole system is meant to clamp down that battery, which is very important because it's 135 pounds.
Yeah.
And in the event of a rollover or accident, we want that to be stable. So hopefully in the next 2 days, we'll have this whole thing buttoned up. Yeah.
Yes. So, Jeff, is this something that most people need?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Because I just know that people will be like, hey, that seems like excessive, or that's really expensive, because those batteries are crazy. I don't know what they run.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Yeah, in 1800, that size battery, it's 214 amp hours.
Yeah, that's
so
a lot.
Unless you're in a vehicle like all the time traveling the world and you run your entire camp life out of it, like Brian from Goose Gear has that battery in his setup, and so it makes sense for him to have it. It runs his entire camp life system. Most people do not need this battery.
Yeah, so the reason I bring that up is I just don't want people to feel like, oh man, I got to get to this. Right. That's so overwhelming. It's because we have very specific needs, and everybody that is overlanding, your needs are going to be different.
Yeah.
Just build the truck to your needs. And the biggest thing is, let me go on a quick rant here. Here's my rant. The big thing is, go out and do it. There are a lot of people that, and I understand why. I mean, I understand how you get to this, can be in this position. You can't go out. It's hard to get out on the weekends and stuff. So you start building your truck, and then that's all you do is you just build your truck. And that truck has actually never really gone on trips or anything like that. I understand, because it's kind of an escape to build that when you're working really hard, and you use your truck as like an escape platform. But it's really important, if you can, to go out, take a stock truck, go out there, drive, see what you need, add that piece, go again, add that piece, and build your truck through experience, because you're traveling with it. And there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to have on these trucks. We're sponsored. We're blessed to be able to show the coolest, greatest, latest, greatest stuff. But I don't want that to be something that, the idea that your truck has to look like this to be, what would you say, an inhibitor to going out. We're like, oh, well, I'll never, because we read that sometimes, oh, I'll never have a truck like that. I'll never go do that. That's just the wrong mindset. You can go do it right now on a stock truck. Please go do that. We need people that are out there doing it. So don't let all the gear, especially in stuff like, these live videos and in our show, be overwhelming or a preventative thing for you. Get out there and do it. Yeah. So, Jeff, anything? Rant over.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Can I add a little bit to that rant?
Oh, sure. Add to the rant.
One of the best things to keep in mind is, from a mechanical standpoint, your vehicle is probably the most reliable when it's in its stock form. So keep that in mind too. And we had Paul May come up here, and we got to take a look at his Land Cruiser. You guys are going to see that in the future. The guy's been doing this for years, kind of as Clay has said before, one of the godfathers of overlanding. And his new build, he just kept it simple, because he's found out over the years, I don't need this stuff. His electrical systems are simple, and that's one of the things I'd say. Electrical systems, keep them simple, because you'll find a whole lot of gremlins in your systems if you get too complicated. So, yeah, don't feel the need to spend money. Just get the things you need and go do what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
I wish I knew that quote offhand, but what is it? Don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And go do that. Go do it. If overlanding makes you come alive and it makes you think about your life and get better at it, go do it. Go do it. Go do it. And then the truck will build itself over time as you're gaining and getting experience and going to cooler places. And because the way your truck is built might change because you're traveling to different types of places. So, yeah, Scott Brady, good friend of ours, publisher of Overland Journal, he says, your truck is finished. Pretty sure he said this. Your truck is finished when you've taken the last thing off of it that you don't need. Yeah. So think of it that way. So, yeah. Okay. Rant over. Rant number 2. Good talk. Okay. What else have we got, Jeff? Should we show them the habitat? We haven't dove into the habitat yet.
Yeah, we haven't this is kind of an next thing on the project too.
Okay.
A little bit. We are going to put some new batteries in our battery box here. So, and we're not certain yet of what batteries we're going to put in there, but just because a lot, we don't have the show if we don't have our production gear. So that's our priority. Especially when you see us doing this electrical stuff, it's all about our production gear. So we're gonna just tidy that up a little bit, maybe throw a few things in there that are new, just so we can have all of our camera gear charging properly. That's it's just a showstopper for us if we don't have that working.
Yep.
So that's gonna be great. What else? I don't think we're adding a whole lot to this thing.
No, I think all we did add so far, we did add one more leaf spring, just as these have kind of broke in.
Yep.
We already got about 20,000 miles on this truck.
Yep.
So
Leaf pack. We're gonna get new wheels on this thing.
yep, we got the
Next few
Icon wheels coming in. They're actually mounted outside. We just got to get them swapped out.
Yeah.
Um,
this truck's pretty close to ready.
Yeah, I think so
Which is
too.
great.
Yeah, the radio's in. Yeah, I don't think there's anything really left to do. We got the lights on. Yeah. So we'll, there's probably just a couple maintenance things that we're going to be doing this. Probably working on a little waterproofing of the tent. Things that, we've spent almost 100 nights in this thing, 75 nights or so. Just kind of some maintenance things. So what else? Okay, so the big shipment that we got in this week was the rigid shipment. So we got a bunch of our light bars back. This is the SR2, combo. And what the SR2 combo stands for is, you can see the difference between this bar and right here. The center portion, the middle 20 inches is spot. And it's a real focused, almost a square looking beam that goes out. And then on the side, those are floods. So it kicks off the side of the trail nicely. So we run dual lights. We run one on top, and we like the SR series because it's small and it's kind of just unassuming. It's not real blingy. One of the things that we don't want to have us look like while we're in other countries is to look like we might be police or military or something like that. So light selection is important. That's why we've gone with just the slim stuff. And then in the front here, we've got to add one more light bar. So CBI Off-Road has built this for a 30-inch combo, but we actually are putting in a Midnight Edition rigid bar there, so it hides. It'll look real stealthy in there, I think. So pretty stoked on that. Let's see what else. We got some rock lights for Samson that are going in. We use rock lights not for rock crawling, but for looking under the truck, doing maintenance at night. Every now and then you might use it for rock crawling, but it's really just ground light when you're stepping out. Like here in Montana, we use them a lot at night when you kick them on, so you know you're not like looking down and stepping on a snake or something like that. We just use those rock lights all the time, and it's never really for rock crawling, it's for everything else. So that's a cool thing that we'll be putting on here. Yep, got the SR light back there, the SR2 back on the X3, and we got it on Rufio. So all of our lights are consistent across the fleet. We like that just because we like the fleets to have a universal look between all of them. So I saw a question about Jeff's shirt. Yes.
Oh, this one?
Oh, this one.
This shirt?
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of new stuff coming out, and they're going to debut. The people that are at Expo are going to be able to get these first. So that is our XT. It's pretty cool because even right here, right there.
See it? You see it?
That's part of the Alexander McKenzie Heritage Map. So that's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
So just to show you the level of merchandise, we just got a whole bunch of merch. There's a bunch of new shirts coming out, hoodies and whatnot. If you're at Expo, you're going to be able to get these first come, first serve, and then they'll go on the website after that. So look for some cool new stuff coming out there. So I think we're at a good spot. think that's all I want to show today. I don't think I've missed anything. Can you think of anything, Jeff?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we're getting close.
We're getting close. All right. I'll go ask these giggling ladies in here. It's so funny in here.
Sorry.
So, question time.
For the trailer brake controller on the
Mhm.
200 series, have
Okay.
you considered the Red Arc Tow Pro product?
Ooh, I saw those. They look pretty awesome. I just haven't had the time to chase it down. And we already had the Takano or whatever they are brake controller. So we're trying to save some money here and there too. That I pulled out of X3 and put it into Samson. But that Red Arc stuff is awesome. I'm pretty intrigued by that stuff. I'm gonna check it out.
How often on these expeditions are you driving air down, and at what PSI?
Oh, good question. So the question is, how often are we driving at lower tire pressures and when, I guess, is the way to restate that. When we're rolling on the street, we're probably running 40 pounds PSI. I don't know what that is in bar. But the trail, what would you say? We usually run 20 pounds on trail.
20 pounds.
20 pounds is probably what we run, just ripping down dirt roads and things like that. And we'll go down further. We've gone down as low as we possibly can. What was our lowest we've been?
Up in Fernie, we were at 7.
7 pounds. We've been at 7 pounds. And that was on the Tacoma, you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So, but you know, once we hit the, if we're just going to be doing a lot of dirt roads and stuff, 20 pounds, interstate highway, 40 pounds. Yeah, give or take.
When driving back and forth from dirt, this is another PSI question.
Okay.
Driving back and forth from dirt to pavement, what PSI do you run to balance traction for both surfaces?
For both surfaces, if you're just going back and forth, man, well, some of it depends on the weight of your vehicle. These vehicles weigh very different numbers between Land Cruiser and the Tacoma and the 4Runner. So that's what you're looking for, is the proper amount of how the tire settles when you release a certain amount. If there's more weight on the vehicle, it'll settle faster. So middle of the ballpark, though, between 28 and 32 pounds. That's what I'm going to go for on that one. Yeah.
Which vehicle is pulling the X-Venture trailer and why?
Which vehicle is towing the X-Venture trailer? Samson. Samson has the big V8 in it. It won't even know it's back there because the XV3, I think they list the stock weight of an XV3, and this is empty weight, it's like 800 pounds, and 750 or 800 pounds. It's ultralight trailer. And then I think total payload is around 1,500 pounds. That Samson won't even know it's back there. It's got so much horsepower that now the other vehicles, they might, because they have the smaller V6s in them, but that 5.7 is just a monster. So
Are you running aluminum or steel beadlock wheels?
these are not beadlocks. They're just made to look like beadlocks. It's just part of the aesthetics of that tire. It is a billet aluminum wheel. And am I correct in that? I haven't looked at that. Yeah, it's billet aluminum. So it's not a forged wheel. It's a billet wheel, right? I got to look into that. I just, if Icon, if you're watching that, that'd be the great question to answer for those guys. But we're really excited about this new wheel because the wheel is the proper width for the general tire that we're running, the X3 Grabber. So it's, what is that width, Jeff? It's like 7.5 on the wheel?
Yeah, I think it is.
And it fits, and let me show you. This is kind of a little off tangent, but so when you're looking at a tire,
8.5.
oh, it's 8.5. Okay. There's the wheel's width. And if it's too narrow, this can start to kind of get a bit of a bulge look. And they're called for a specific rating now. The TRD wheels are a little too narrow. They ran fine. We did it. We did it on the Central America expedition. But this wheel is slightly wider, and it is designed specifically for this tire, which I always get it wrong. is the 285/70R17, which is right at a 32.8-inch tire equivalent, so 33. And so yeah, you can already tell like when it's sitting on the ground that the tires look better on the wheels because of the width is proportional to the way it should be. So next question.
Why the switch from Yaesu to ICOM radios?
Okay, why the switch from Yaesu ham radio to ICOM? The Yaesu was my personal radio, and so that's going back over to the original X1 Tacoma that I drive every day. And I wanted to go universal on the other radios, which makes going back and forth between all the vehicles simpler because you're always operating the same equipment. And ICOM is just a great brand. And working with High Altitude Communications, they're an ICOM dealer. Therefore, we got the hookup on that, and that's why we went to ICOM. But ICOM and Yaesu, we're not sponsored by any of those guys. They're both great radios. And but I am already quickly falling in love with the size of the screen on that 5100. So, which is nice to have a big screen when you're driving. It's just easier to operate. Safer, in my opinion. Next.
Any major excursions planned for this trip? Fly fishing, perhaps?
I would love to fly fish if I can. We do have excursions planned, but I'm not going to talk about them now. You're just going to have to wait. Okay, next question.
We don't have any more questions.
Any more questions? Okay, I'll offer it for just a minute here. Fire away any questions if you have, and we'll get to them here real quick. So, any questions? Anybody? There's 118 of you watching. Someone's got to have a question. Just raise your hand. Just kidding. You can't raise your hand. I can't see you. Oh, lots of electric load, maybe an alternator upgrade. Let me give you an update on that. Oh, here come the questions.
Yep.
Here they come. All right. I just talked to Kurt yesterday, and he said that the special fuses, hopefully we're coming in today, that will help with our alternator load. And Jeff, can you explain what that fuse does?
Yes, so your alternator, our alternators on most vehicles, they're regulated at what output they can provide for your battery. So these fuses are going to increase that output. Now, we're still using the same power consumption, so you can make the argument, well, you get a bigger alternator, and it won't be so stressed, I guess you could say it that way. But we haven't had any problems with our alternators, and we try to keep things as close to stock as we can.
Yep.
So we're just going to go with this fuse route. We've heard great reviews about it. It comes out of Australia. They do that on their rigs there, and I think it's going to work well for us. We haven't had a problem yet running just the stock system, so this little fuse will give us just that much more that we need for charging, and
Yep.
Should work out fine.
Mm-hmm. So I just know this next question's out there. Why not solar? Why don't you go solar?
Good question. Well, a few reasons. One, mounting it would be a bit of an issue for us with our rooftop tents and all that. We would need some pretty big panels as well. And again, as long as our vehicles are running, we're going to be charging off those alternators, right? And then camp life shows up. We could put up some solar stuff, but it's just not going to keep up with our needs. So solar really, it has its place, absolutely. For a normal person who's not doing a production, solar's awesome. But for us, it just doesn't quite give us what we need.
Especially when you're camping in an area and you're able to like shut down and then your solar system like keeps your batteries topped off and running. That's awesome. But we're just never really stopped for that long. We're moving almost every single day.
Yeah.
So it just kind of becomes a system that we don't need right off the bat, right offhand. So
Absolutely.
so one guy who's asking what batteries we're using, Odyssey batteries this year.
Yeah, so we've got our Group 31s, 3M PC 2150, and then these guys are in their 1800s.
Oh yeah, that's the bad boy that we put in Rufio that you saw earlier. One of
PC
those.
1800 FT. Yeah, 214 amp hours on these guys, 100 amp hours on the Group 31s.
Cool. All right, Heather, question.
What footwear do you all use?
Whatever fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Shoes. We don't have a footwear sponsor or whatnot, but Jeff and I have found a secret shoe. Let's talk about the secret shoe. The secret shoe to overlanding is an approach shoe.
Yeah, an approach shoe.
A climbing approach shoe is an awesome shoe for overlanding. They're built for hiking, running, scrambling up stuff, but they're thin enough and have a slimmer profile that driving in them is awesome because they're not clunky in the pedals and they just kind of do everything. So I will personally probably be buying a set of new shoes for this upcoming expedition because pretty much all mine right now are wore out. So I'm going to go with that, and then usually a camp shoe for being around a camp, letting your feet air out, taking care of your feet. So anyway, yeah. Next question.
Why only 2 meter versus high frequency?
I don't know. Because running in the a lot of the ham bands down there, like on other trails and stuff like that, just that frequency is used a lot, so that's why we use that. So
Do you bring your dog on your trip?
we do not. No dogs on the trip. We already have enough to worry about.
Another question about Ty's tires.
Size. You got your turds twisted. I mean, your words twisted.
And if they're all the same, if the Land Cruiser's the same size as the other rigs.
Yes, all tires are universal in size, but the wheels are not universal. So let's just... The Forerunner Rufio is a 6-lug pattern. Same with X3. So those two trucks can share tires. Now, they can share wheels. Now, Samson has a 5-lug pattern. Sequoia, Tundra, Land Cruiser all use 5-lug hubs. So that's why we have duals on this one. And then the trailer will also be in the 5-lug so that the dual spares that are running on Samson also double for the tire spares for the trailer. So, yeah, that should answer, but the tire size is the same. Next question.
How are you doing maps and navigation in the Land Cruiser since it has a built-in navigation system? Is it the same as the others with a mounted tablet, or is it a secret sauce?
It's the same as the others. No secret sauce. I'm interested. Let me flip this here. I'm interested in getting the South America map chip for the Toyota stuff, for the Toyota DINs, because right now, like in North America, they come with a map set that is slid in to the DIN there, and it loads all the North American maps. If we can get the South American maps, you just take that chip out, put the other one in, and it'll have all the roads, a lot of the roads for South America. I haven't dug into that too much. The next would be, we are working with HEMA this year on a special project, and then Google Maps always works. And then we also have a mapping street software that we're getting through Kurt. You'd have to ask him what he's doing, but that's something that we're loading up through a Garmin Montana system. And all 3 trucks have universal GPS systems on the dash so that everybody knows, and we load that destination on every day where we're going, so all 3 trucks know where we're going, and we're not relaying, what, are we almost there, and all that stuff. Everybody just has their GPS and they can look at it. And if we get separated, they have the information they need. So, next question.
Are you running any power add-ons on the Forerunner or plan to?
Power add-ons. Engine-wise, no. Power add-ons to the battery systems, yes. Just check out just earlier in the video, we put in a massive battery in there. Next question. That's 2 more questions.
For sorry. How much lift do these trucks have?
How much lift do these trucks have? We're probably sitting right at 2.5 inches, Jeff, I think. Yeah, 2.5 inches of lift. That's all you really need, especially for the stuff that we're doing. We don't want to go any higher. Center of gravity changes. We just have found that with between the pretty much a 33-inch tire and a 2.5-inch lift, that we can do 95% of stuff. And it's best to keep the vehicle as low as possible and keep the geometries of all the angles of especially in the IFS, the independent front suspension stuff, keeping all those angles and the CV axles as close to stock as possible. Everything just lasts longer. So 2.5 inches is the quick question to the lift, is the quick answer to the lift. Yeah.
3.5 versus 4.0 for loaded expo rigs.
3.5 versus 4.0.
Yeah. Power difference on a loaded rig. That's the question.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's
I don't
from
know.
Caper Crew, if you could.
Caper Crew, could you define the 3.5 versus 4 for loaded expo rigs? A little deeper. Might be able to answer it for you.
Do you run diff drop kits?
We do not run diff drop kits currently. Not Nitro Gear and Axle supplied our last Land Cruiser with diff drop kit, and it worked great. We just haven't got that far. I'm not that concerned because our lift isn't that high on these. That's probably an addition. Once these trucks come back, we might look at doing. For the long term, it's a good solution to put a diff drop in.
So the 3.5 versus the 4.0 was the Toyota engine.
Oh, sure. I really love that 4.0. We were driving the new truck yesterday, and it has a ton of top end speed. It's just in the lower stuff that the 3.5 suffers. But once you get on it, it's good. So, personal preference, I prefer the 4.0. But I'm also dealing with my personal truck with a supercharger. And how can you compare that to anything else because it's supercharged, right? Any others?
Any plans of going overseas, Australia, Asia, Europe?
Totally. We'll eventually go overseas. That's the goal. We want to go around the world. So where that is next, we don't know, but that's the plan. So right on.
Already has that one, right?
Yep. All right, guys. I think that's probably pretty good. We try to keep they're always landing at this kind of a speed. So, or at this kind of timeline. Sorry, I'm fighting a little sickness today, so if I'm a little scattered, it's because we've been working our butts off, Jeff.
A little bit.
We've been here at 8 in the morning till 10:30 at night, just cranking, and that's between the last time and this episode. That's just crazy. So we're starting to wear down a little bit. I think we're going to take a good weekend here and rest up. So anyway, thank you so much for joining in. Post questions afterwards if you want. If they didn't get answered, I'll try and get to them. I am going to hop into a radio install here, but I'll try and get to them at some point today. Please subscribe to our channel. That helps, and this will pop up the next time we go live through email and whatnot. I think there's is there something you have to do on the YouTube? You just click get notifications, and then you'll be notified when we go live. So anyway, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for just inspiring us with your comments and watching. And you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.